The ragged man said he'd take 5 Mercedes trucks. They laughed. But it was their biggest mistake. The morning sun had barely crept over the glass. Facade of Mercedes-Benz Premium. Trucks when the man walked in. His coat was torn at the shoulder, his shoes worn down at the heel, and the creases on his face told the story of a man who had known hard labor for decades. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also tell us in the comments where in the world are you watching from. He shuffled through the showroom door with the kind of quiet dignity that only those who have truly suffered manage to carry. And every head in the building turned to look. The salespeople exchanged glances. One of them, a sharp-suited young man named Rajan, smirked and nudged his colleague Priya. "Watch this," he whispered, barely hiding his amusement. The man walked slowly past the gleaming trucks on display, touching the hood of one with a roughened hand, studying the dashboard of another with careful eyes. He said nothing for a long while. Finally, he turned to Rajan and said calmly, "I would like to purchase 5 of these trucks." Rajan blinked. Then he laughed. It was not a polite laugh. It was the kind of laugh that escapes when something seems so absurd that it cannot be contained. Priya covered her mouth. Another colleague at the back of the showroom turned away, shoulders shaking. "Sir," Rajan said, composing himself with barely concealed condescension, "these trucks start at 40 lakh rupees each. 5 of them would be 2 crore rupees. The man nodded slowly. "Yes," he said. "I know." He reached into the inside pocket of his ragged coat and produced a worn leather wallet. From it he withdrew a folded document, a bank draft, signed and verified, made out to Mercedes-Benz for exactly 2 crore rupees. He placed it on the counter without a word and looked at Rajan with calm, steady eyes. The laughter died instantly. The showroom went silent. Rajan's face shifted through several shades of color before settling on something resembling shame. The branch manager, Mr. Suresh, who had been watching from his glass-walled office, walked out immediately. He had seen enough of the world to recognize the moment when his team had made a catastrophic error in judgment. He straightened his tie, walked directly to the man and extended his hand. "Sir, welcome. I'm deeply sorry for the behavior you just witnessed. I am the branch manager here. My name is Suresh." The man shook his hand firmly. "My name is Haridas," he said. "I run a transport company. We have been growing for 20 years. I started with 1 borrowed truck and a route nobody else wanted. My drivers are my family. When they work hard, I reward them. When the company grows, I invest back into it." He paused and looked around the showroom. "I dress simply because I was taught that money is not for showing. It is for working." Mr. Suresh personally guided Haridas through the rest of the purchase. He offered tea, pulled out specification sheets, went over every detail of each truck with respect and patience. Rajan was asked to step into the back office. The deal was completed that afternoon. 5 brand-new Mercedes-Benz trucks, fully loaded and customized for long-haul transport, were ordered in the name of Haridas Transport Enterprises. As the paperwork was finalized, Haridas looked at Mr. Suresh and said something that the manager would repeat for years afterward. "I have been turned away from shops and laughed at by receptionists and dismissed by people who thought they could read my whole story from the outside of my coat. Every time it happened, I noted the name of the company. I never went back, but I also noted the names of the people who treated me with dignity when I had nothing to show for myself. Those are the people I return to when I have everything." He signed the last page of the contract and stood up. "Your company will be hearing from me again," he said. "I intend to expand the fleet to 30 trucks by next year." Mr. Suresh walked him to the door himself. As Haridas stepped out into the afternoon light, Rajan stood at the back of the room, staring at the signed documents in silence. He had been in sales for 4 years. He thought he had learned to read people. He thought he knew the difference between a serious buyer and a time waster. He had been wrong in the most expensive way possible, not just for the company, but for himself. Because in the business of trust, first impressions cut both ways. The customer is always forming an opinion of you. At the same moment you are forming one of them. Haridas had walked in with 2 crore rupees in his pocket and left, with 5 trucks and a lesson he hadn't needed to give. The staff of that showroom, however, never forgot it. Dignity cost nothing. Judgment costs everything. The ragged man had known his worth all along. It was the people in the fine suits who had forgotten theirs. If this story moved you and reminded you that appearances are never the full truth, then please support our channel, Kindness True Stories. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it today, and subscribe so you never miss a story that restores your faith in people. Every story we tell is a reminder that kindness, humility, and character are the greatest wealth anyone can carry. Thank you for being part of our community, Kindness True Stories.